from the time you diagnose, and then you start to reach out to the community. Who do I go to? Where do I go? I don't know what I don't know. How do I get help? And often that will lead to me coming and sitting with you either in your home or maybe at our office in Cooperoo or maybe out in the community, and just having a chat around where you are as a person and where you are in your family, and then we will talk on the concept of building a care network. And one of the common themes I hear really often when I meet with families is, I don't know where to start. Prior to being told I've got motor neurone disease, I was fit, I was healthy, I was active, I was working full time. You know, I've had a very successful life. I've never had to enter the space of service delivery. I don't know where to start to unpack looking for services, how to engage with services. And that's part of my role at MND and Me, is to help you unpack that. And we look at the services that are relevant to you in your individual journey, because everyone here will have a very different need along the way and need different services. And as Rob spoke earlier about each health district having a unique way of working, the services available in each different health district vary slightly as well. So there are two main sorts of situations we have to sort out pretty quickly, and that's where are you going to fit in either the age bracket of under 65 or over 65. Am I going to be connecting with NDIS for my funding and therefore the services that will open up to me? Or am I going to be supported via the My Aged Care services and the scope of services that opens up? They are very, very different. And I'm sure you may be aware of the high level of advocacy that's going on at the moment in terms of making it a more fair and equitable division of funds across both age brackets. So basically, if you're under 65, you'll be able to apply for NDIS. Now, NDIS is basically uncapped funds available to you. It is based on your life goals, and those goals are related to addressing deficit caused by disability. So there are limitations to what NDIS can support and what it can't, and we have to work within those constraints. It's certainly not, as it's often touted to be, the answer to everything and unlimited care, because it certainly isn't. It has its own challenges. Okay? If you're over 65 at the time of diagnosis, we move through the My Aged Care funding streams. And that has two levels. The first level, or what they term as entry level, is the Commonwealth Home Support funding. So that it's the Commonwealth Home Support program. And that allows you to be assessed as to your functional capacity now and what you might need to remain in your own home and living as independently and as safely as possible. So it's designed for those very basic entry-level services. Okay? It is means tested. So if you're over 65, all of your funding is means tested, unfortunately.
It's mean, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Absolutely. So you may have a varied co-contribution to pay towards your care. Now, those entry-level supports start with things like somebody may be coming and helping for an hour with some cleaning, maybe someone to help you mow the lawn, maybe some very, very basic personal care. But it doesn't expand into the complex care as your symptoms progress. That's when we have to move to the second tier of aged care funding, which is the home care packages. Okay? So they are structured in a 4 levels of care, and as your symptoms progress, you get reassessed to progress to each different level of care. Now, to access those home care packages, you sit in a national wait list. So even though you may be assessed as eligible for a home care package, you may not get one allocated immediately. So what we do in the meantime is we fill that gap. Okay? So there's also often conversation around what is a community-based service. So, and Rob touched on it a little bit earlier. Each of you may be linked with your specific health region MND clinic. Within that clinic, you will get access to a varied degree of clinical support. Okay, so that's your neurologist, your respiratory team, and those allied health people that are attached to each different clinic. So once you get NDIS funding, or you move into a home care package funding, you then move out into what is community-based care. So you then have to go out into the community and source your individual service providers. And that is about you having control, choice and control over finding the best service provider to meet your needs. Okay, nobody coming into your care network has the right to come and tell you how you're going to receive supports. They're not here to say you will, you must, you have to. You are in control of building your care network, and you have a voice, whether it be a verbal voice, whether it's a boogie board, whether it's an iPad, whether it's a neuronode, whatever it is, that's your voice, and you have the right to use it to make sure the care you're getting is absolutely the best fit for you. Again, we're here to help. Okay? So, MND and Me, sorry, Camille? Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry, it's shut off.
Okay, no worries. So, MND and Me is our service offerings come at no cost to you. Okay? And I will just reinforce that. Our role, as the slide said in the beginning, to care and to cure. We raise money to contribute to research to find the cure, but we also make the commitment to provide care. Now, we don't do that by delivering that care ourselves. We have made incredible connections with community-based providers. And part of my role is to make sure you have the tools in your toolbox to build your care network. So part of our first conversation might be for me to offer you a link to a support coordinator. Now, we have a collaboration with MS Queensland, and many of you will be familiar with the Spark Neurocare program. That's where a lot of our support coordination comes from. But we also engage with independent support coordinators across Queensland. And we do that to make sure we can have as many coordinators on the ground in your community and accessible to you. So at the moment, we're currently contributing funding towards just over 35 support coordinators through Spark Neurocare, and then also some additional community-based ones, in the aim to make sure that we've got hands-on support for you in your home, in your community, wherever you need it to be. And they are face-to-face interactions. So support coordinators will then encourage you to look at service providers. So service providers might be the ones, we can use some of those bigger names that might resonate with you: Blue Care, Anglicare, Ozcare, Centrecare. They're service providers. And just as you are purchasing tyres for your car, you're purchasing a service. Same as purchasing services for your care. You need to make sure you've got the right service for you. So shop around. Okay? Ask questions. Your support coordinator's role is to help you link with those community-based service providers. And at any point in time, you get that gut feeling, that fight or flight, it's an indicator that you don't have the right mix right now. So we have to be brave enough to consider trialling a different organisation, trialling a different staff member, trialling the better fit. Okay? You have control of that. It's about you having control. Okay? At MND and Me, we have service offerings, and again, just to let you know, there's no cost to you for those services. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. We have our Communication Connect program where we can link you with the right piece of technology at the right time if you are experiencing decline in your verbal communication. We can help you access equipment, whether we hire it on your behalf or whether it comes from the equipment that we hold in our Communication Connect program. So as I say, boogie boards, iPads, and getting up to the higher level technology around eye gaze technology. We have that available to you. Okay. We have our child psychology services. So if you have a young person, a child, a grandchild, who is really finding it challenging to understand what's happening in the family for the person that's diagnosed with MND, we will fund access to clinical support for that child. We'll fund 6 sessions and then we will review with the clinician how they're going. And we really focus on that being around grief and loss. So that's another support that we provide. Okay. We have our face-to-face support groups, and many of you are very familiar with those because we see you often. And it might be that you are really unsure, is it for me, is it not for me? Do I really want to go and see other people's journey? Do I want to then start thinking, is mine going to look like that? But I encourage you to just really think that over and be a little bit brave. Come along, have a conversation, because they're peer-led. It's a very safe environment where people understand what it's like for themselves to be living in a body that is now working differently. Okay? They're usually very positive. We explore great service delivery, challenging service delivery. It's an opportunity where people can look at somebody and say, where did you get that? Oh, how do I get that? And it's about sharing skills and knowledge at a peer-to-peer level. Certainly when we break for conversation after this, I really do encourage you, if you are attending support groups and you want to sort of let anyone else know about them, share that information. Okay. What else? So we have our, that's all right. We have our equipment hire program. So sometimes prior to getting access to your funding stream, whether it be NDIS, whether it be My Aged Care, you may have an immediate need for equipment. We will hire that on your behalf. Okay. We will hire it based on the recommendation from your occupational therapist or your physiotherapist. We are a non-clinical service provider, so we draw on the area of expertise from those allied health clinicians. Okay? If we don't have it, we will source it. Okay? So that's another program that we have. We have our client support grants. So sometimes, again, there are gaps. NDIS has said no. You might need some additional hours of support. Your home care package is exhausted, or you don't have capacity within your CHSP funding. We will put in place up to $2,500 per person to get those extra pieces of support that you need. Okay? And again, working through your support coordinators, or whether you want to submit an application yourself, it's a very simple application form that's available, and you just have to give me a call for that. One of our newer supports is the Prism app, and when we're moving around later, you'll see there's a flyer. Jane's got one right there. And it's a free app for you. It's an app that you can put onto your phone to keep track of your network. You can record your day-to-day, how you're feeling day-to-day. If you're noticing a change in your function, you can record it in there. You can record your equipment. Where did it come from? When is it due for servicing? Who do I call when it needs servicing? You can record any medications you're taking, medication changes. You can look at your Derek, help me out here, respiratory testing? Your lung function, yes. There we go. You can record that in the app. And then you can also PDF it and send it in to your clinic ahead of your visit if you need to, or you can PDF it, print it out and take it with you. You can keep your diary notes in there, and you can also share your login with your care network. So everyone is across what's happening for you in your care network day to day. So, what else do I need to tell you about? Community education programs is another support that we provide.
Do you have any how to do the PRISM app?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have basically an open door. Okay, if you've got questions, just pick up the phone, send an email, send a text message, come and knock on our door. We're here to help.
I don't know the app, but I can't work.
Excellent. Well, I've got someone just in mind for you. So we also make sure that we offer support to our carers and the carer network as well. So we offer mindfulness for carers, and we do carer events. So if you register with us and you're in our identified as a carer, you'll get invitations to things like our carer Caring for Carer Days, which we had one just recently. Now, understand they can be a challenge to get to at times, because it's about, if I'm coming to an event to care for me for the day, who's going to be there with my loved one? Again, we will put funding in place to hire a carer for the day if that's what we need to do to make sure you get some time for you as well. Okay? So that about wraps up my conversation for now. Unfortunately, as I say, Rob has had to leave, but we do have Derek. We also have Jane, who has arrived, and I will introduce Jane to you. Jane is our CEO. So at MND and Me, as I said, we don't deliver the services directly. We don't employ staff. We work within the community. So at our office, we have a board who sits above us. We have Jane as our CEO. She makes the money. I spend the money as a client services manager. And we have Camille, who does our administration assistance. So this is us.
This is us.
So, thank you very much.
So I just quickly wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming today, for investing the time and being here and to come and learn all of this information. I hope it has been useful. And like Sarah said, our door is always open. We're always there. I'm quite often answering emails and questions over weekends. So when we say to care and to cure, we live by that on a daily basis. So please reach out at any time. And anything that we provide is free. So don't be putting your hand in your pocket at different times. If something sits out of your funding model, get in contact with us and we can see how we can help you out with that. And I also wanted to say thank you to Derek and Shu. We love our orange at MND and Me, so I found some orange chocolate for Derek and Shu as a thank you. I've given it to Rob on the way out. And I do encourage you to link up with Derek and get involved in research to the level that you're comfortable with. There are a number of people here who are already linked up and getting involved there. But it is something that a lot of people with MND find gives them hope. And if it's not for them, it's for somebody in the future that they're assisting. So please make sure that you reach out to Derek and have a chat to either him or Shu. We'll hang around here for a little while to have a chat if you've got any questions. We do have the flyers on the table for the PRISM. It has the QR code. You need to download the PRISM app onto your phone and then via the app, via the code, you need to apply for a registration. The only issue is that the staff at the University of Queensland allocate you a login. So it won't be until they're back at work on Monday that you will get that login. You'll receive an email from them with your password and your login that you'll then be able to go into the app and start setting that up and putting those things in there. So it's a joint initiative that we have with some students and staff at UQ. But reach out to Camille or myself if you're having any problems with the Prism app not set up.
Reach out to me if you need a service provider.
Yes.
Or a chat.
All right, so please hang around as long as you feel comfortable. We'd love to have a chat with you and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe on those wet roads and whatever's coming at us for the next 48 hours. So, thank you.
Thanks.